Hello, and welcome to From a Skein podcast. My name is Kristen, and you can find me on Ravelry as Knitting Chris, Instagram as Knitting Chris. My account is private, but if your friend requests me and you have some kind of, crafty thing in your, bio or your pictures, posts, I will gladly friend you and let probably reciprocate. Or if I just know you personally, there's a good chance as well. It's been such a long hiatus since I've been here. There's just been a whole lot going on. I wasn't sure how podcasting would be for me inside of my home. I hope that you'll kind of stick with me. This is kind of still very grassroots. I don't have any professional audio or video. I don't even think I run this through like iMovie. Just record it as a video on my phone and upload it. So I thank you for sticking with me. I hope that you enjoy the time that we're going to spend together. I have quite a few things to show you. It's been months. Some of the things that I've created, crafted, I have gifted. But it's okay. I think we can go over some of the things I'm working on and continuing to work on or have started since the last time that we've met here. And I just welcome you. It is a beautiful but chilly Sunday afternoon. We've just gone through the spring forward time change here. That was just last night. So my body's going to take a couple weeks to adjust, but it's a good thing to have the light back, and I think we all just feel better. I know I do, kind of just from a mental standpoint. So what have I been up to? Well, let me tell you, I'm still massively in love with the granny crochet blankets. Mostly I gift them, or I just enjoy making them. I think mostly I gift them or I sell them. Between the last time we met and now, I had gifted one to my great nephew, who was then still, we'll call it in process. He was still in process and on his way. He is now here, so I hope that he is enjoying that. I have not met him yet. He's very new to the world. I knit another baby blanket that one of my friends had asked me to knit, and if I was super skilled at this, I could pop a picture or a photo of it in here. If you, like I said, if you see me on Instagram, there is a photo there as well. And then I can show you that, and you'll see me bend over today. You'll see me reach behind me, put stuff on my blockers. So again, thanks for sticking with the grassroots, kind of frame of this. I am still working on, this was like a small square the last time I met with you. This is a blanket that I'm working on for one of my friend's daughters, or she got married. So this is a larger granny square blanket. It is knit in like a heathered gray kind of color. Not a knit, crocheted. My goodness, I know better. And it's actually coming along nicely. It takes a long time to do, and here's the end, a row anymore on this because of its sheer size. So the other thing is I had purchased this. This is Knit Picks Brava. Again, I don't know the exact color. It is up on their website. It comes in 500, not 500, I'm sorry, 500 grams. Yes, 500 grams. So well over 1,000 yards of yarn, right? And so what I'm dealing with, excuse my, is this. It's yarn barf. So it's untangling it so I can get enough out to crochet it. And to now crochet a row takes forever. So yeah. It just really is a struggle to make myself work on that. But I have been working on it, and I put in one of those large balls. I have the second one here. I may order a third. I'm a little worried about dye lot. Even I've noticed nowadays that you really do have to pay attention even when you're buying commercial dye lots. When I bought this yarn, I wasn't planning on using it for this particular project. I was going to use it for a different project, and it didn't work out. So I just thought when I needed a napkin, this would be perfect. And now looking back, I wish I would have maybe like 3 of those large skeins. I think that would make a super nice size blanket, maybe even 4. So anyway, maybe I'll find something that's similar or buy something like a contrasting color to do like some edging. I don't know yet. If you have any ideas, pop them down in the comments and I'd love to hear them. Again, sticking with the crochet, and I'm sorry, I'm doing just a standard Granny Square blanket. I don't have any show notes today, so we are really grassroots winging it. Just my usual hook here, and if my eyesight is correct, this is a US H 5.00 millimeter hook. Again, you can just buy this. Sadly, I think I got this at Joann's. If you haven't heard that news, Joann's is actually closing its doors completely as a craft store, big box craft store chain, which is a sad thing for a lot of crafters. Joann's has been around for as long as I can remember and has been a reliable source for, projects that, I love wool. I personally is my absolute preference when making a project, but there are times, and a lot of times, when I'm making things for people, that I don't use wool for just the simple care of it for people, when they're looking to do things. So anyway, that's that. So, but anyway, that's the usual standard hook. And keeping along the crocheted lines, I did start, one of my coworkers had asked me to make her a baby gift for one of her I think friends, and she said she didn't know the sex, so she wanted it in a cream color. So I started it. I'm on the 2nd ball. It's a pretty nice size already. I'm sorry, I'm on the 3rd ball. And this is knit, and I found that this is probably the softest commercial yarn. It is from the Yarn Bee, and it is called Yarn ID, I think, which kind of is weird. And it's the color Oats. It is probably like at least a 4-ply. I don't know. I leave it in the skein because here it's not Yarn Barf. It does call for US 5 millimeter or 8 knitting needles and US 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, which would be a little bit larger than what I'm doing. I'm actually still using the same hook, the G, or the 5.0 millimeter. And as you can see, I really don't think it, I don't do gauge on these, but it is giving really nice stitch definition, which I'm very pleased with. So you can see that's done very well for me. I think it is so soft and makes just a really nice gift for somebody. So I have been using that, and it has been really very nice as far as that goes. Before I get into my sockapade, I will go on some other projects that I've been working on. So a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was when I went to Rhinebeck or if it was just something I ordered online. I kind of think I bought it like when we were at a festival somewhere. I saw it and my brain was like, what? It's this 21 color scarf, and it is from Blue Sky Fibers. So this is the actual pattern inside of here, but I'm just going to show you the pattern pictures. So I love this. This is beautiful, right? We talk about being a product knitter versus product knitter. I would say that I generally enjoy the process of making something, which is what the definition of process. You enjoy the process of the knitting. Maybe you learn a new technique or several new techniques. Maybe you're a new knitter, you're learning a lot. Maybe you're a very seasoned knitter and you just enjoy the rhythm of your needles, right? So this is a very easy pattern. It comes with 2 large skeins of the gray is the main color, and then these tiny mini skeins of the colors. Now, the only problem with this, and I'm going to show you, I'm not too far on it really. It's like a 500 row, 500 some row pattern, like it gives you rows, and it's just a very simple rib. I'm not, again, it's a paid for pattern. So here's kind of where I'm at with it. Now it's great, and I'll be honest, though I normally am a process knit, I want the finished product, right? I love the scarf. I think it's going to be super cute when I'm done. Not cute, classic, wearable. I'm going to love it. Let's just leave it at that. The problem, and this is the only problem with it, I love all the colors. You know, the gray is the perfect neutral. I love gray, the pops of colors. You know, I might love this orange here, but I would probably never wear something big in that orange. But to have it in a scarf, perfect. The problem, you guessed it, like 1,000 ends. So I've been uncharacteristically very good, and I've woven in the ends up until, like, I usually don't weave in the ends up near the top. These are the last ones that I did, so I haven't woven those in. I usually weave the ones prior to where I left off before, so these have been woven in, but these are the new ones and have not. So now it is time for me to start another kind of like colored sequence here, and then I probably will be weaving in ends after I finish that. So, you know, it's long. It doesn't have a reversible. It says it's reversible, but really, I mean, even when my ends are woven in, I don't know that it's reversible. I mean, I think I'm going to be able to wrap it, but it clearly has a front and a back. So I love the product. The knitting is super easy. It's not hard. It's just a rib. And the only hard thing, if you want to even consider it hard, is the weaving in events, because if you know me, you know I don't like that. I just don't like finishing. I don't like finishing at all. I like the knitting. I hate the weaving in. A lot of my things don't get blocked. They don't get woven in. It's a sad thing. I'm trying to work on that. Again, process versus product knitter. So that's going to be an ongoing project. I kind of pick it up every once in a while and you know, put in a couple rows, and I think it's going to be an ongoing long-term project. So there's that. Again, before we get to my sockapade, or whatever you want to call it, we'll talk about what I'm working on next. Planning a trip to I wouldn't say the West Coast, but Pacific Northwest. So one of my friends years ago, one of my knitting friends, gifted me this great book, which I think it's going to be hopefully the right way if I'm showing it to you, Knitting Our National Parks. So I planned on going to 3 national parks while we're out there. And the first one that we're going to go to, I've started knitting, so I'm going to knit the hats that correspond with the national parks. So that we're going to visit. So the first one, and I don't want to, I don't think I'm giving anything away here. This is the first one, Olympic National Park in Washington. So this is a very feminine hat, right? It's knit out of Malabrigo, which is a very affordable, washable, worsted weight yarn, and it was knit out. The lettuce colorway is what it calls for. Now, when I purchased the yarn for all of the hats that we're going to 3 national parks, so planning to, so when I purchased the yarn, a lot of it was Malabrigo. So that's in the Rios, which is their worsted base, and it is 100% superwash, I believe. So it's very, it's affordable, I think, for wool. It's nice. It has pretty, it's kettle dyed. It's pretty. But that pattern was too feminine to knit for like a man. So I asked, and I've knit this hat many times before. This is the manly version or conversion of that hat that I knit. This is the Malabrigo in the lettuce colorway. So if you look at it like this, it has a 4-inch brim where you're doing some ribbing, and I believe it's a 2x2 ribbing. I'm sorry, the pattern is Jason's Cashmere Hat. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is probably one of the best patterns for a cabled hat that you could do if you were beginning at cables. This hat only has 1 cable cross in it, believe it or not. every, I don't know if it's like 6 rows or something like that. And I think it's got a lot of bang for the buck. It looks super small, but I can guarantee you it is super stretchy, super cute. You can vary the length of the, so if I wanted a super slouchy hat, I could totally put it on without a brim and make it, you know, pointy, slouchy, however you wanted to wear it. You can fold it up for the shortness, and it's great. You know, I highly recommend the pattern, and I highly recommend the yarn. So this is the lettuce colorway. I really like this finished object a lot. So this is for my husband. And then I myself will knit the actual pattern in the book. I'm going to modify it a little bit. I think it's a little bit too fitted for my liking, so I'll probably put a longer brim on it. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the great thing about making things and making them your own. You can take them and make them how you like them styled. And so I enjoy knitting this. I think it took like 3 days, if even that. You know, I work full time, so kind of puts a damper sometimes on it. In this bowl that is pretty, my friend bought this for me for Christmas. I have a lot of yarn knitting bowls, but I never had a wooden one. I don't know how she knew that I didn't, but she did. And so she gifted me this beautiful wooden yarn bowl. It's currently holding my skein of, believe it or not, Malabrigo. It's dark green, and you really can't tell, and navy blue. Dark green and navy blue. And it's in the color Va, V-A-A. And it's the Malabrigo Rios. So I have just finished the brim on this spectacular hat. Again, it is a 4-inch brim, so it'll be nice if you want to turn it up. And I have kind of a unique little stitch marker on there to mark the beginning of the round. I believe it is a homemade or handmade pottery stitch marker that just marks the beginning of the rounds for me. And I think I've done all the increases, and now just have to start on the color work of this. This is a color work hat, which is fun. I haven't done color work for a couple years, so I am glad to get back into it and make some of the hats that, well, 2 of the hats from this book require color work, which is great. It kind of stretches my brain muscles, and I like to do that. So the real thing that I've made some progress on over the past couple of months are my socks. I used to do this like knit a pair of socks a month. You did it with like Desert Vista Dye Works. Originally did it as part of their dyeing. You know, she's a striping company and a one-woman show dyer, and I love her yarn. So I originally started doing that a long time ago, and then I kind of continued that tradition for a little while and dropped it off. And then I've just become inspired by people who knit so many socks a year. And I love that idea. I mean, I could never knit what they knit, the quantity they knit. They're like knitting like 90 pair of socks a year. I could never do that. But I really have challenged myself this year to kind of knit more than 12 pair in a year, like one a month. I was going pretty strong, doing it maybe 2 pair a month, but then I kind of, somewhere in, I don't know, between all the months, I kind of backed off a little bit, but I do have some to show you. So in November, I did, and I don't, if I showed you these in the previous episode, I apologize. These are ones that I do believe most things are woven in on. I can't believe it, right? These are the first on my sock blockers. This is just my standard sock recipe, and it's in Beehive Yarns. I do believe it is her regular, she calls it her Audrey base. So she names every one of her bases after like a really great female icon, like Audrey Hepburn is who Audrey is named after. Bridget Bardot, I believe, is one of the other sock bases that I use from her. I love her dyeing process. I love her yarns. So these are knit, and the colorway is called These Boots. And I loved it because I took a trip to Nashville with my friends for a long weekend in November. So I started and knit like at least half of one of these socks, like down here, you know, on the plane. So it was really fun. And This is a standard sock recipe. The only thing that my standard sock recipe, I did an Eye of a Partridge heel, which is just a little bit of a, you know, you can look it up. It's a free pattern. I'd like to do a heel. And then I did do a ribbing section in here, which is just basically like a slip one, knit one for about 30 rows and stuff. And then I did the toe. This just, if you're used to wearing commercial socks and you like that, like patterned, I don't want to say pattern, but like where it hugs your foot here in the arch, it just like kind of mimics that if you knit like a little slip stitch, slip one, knit one kind of pattern there. So that was like my November socks. And then, you know, I got around to December thinking, you know, December, I went Christmas socks. Well, I didn't really start anything in December. But I did, I'm going to put these all on my blockers so you can kind of see what they are. These are a pair of self-striping. I got, you know, self-striping socks are just really satisfying. I don't know if you're a sock knitter or if you like to knit socks, but they sort of go quicker for me. They seem to go quicker just because, you know, you'll be like one more stripe. Obviously, I haven't woven in the end, so this did not follow along. These are an unusually pink. Like I say I'm not a pink person, but apparently I'm somewhat of a pink person because I knit some pink. These are Woolens and Nosh in a sock set, and I wanted to look it up what it was, and I apologize. I don't know if she offers it. It was a Christmas colorway, vintage. Her yarn, I believe, is Corriedale, so they are a bit, they're not rough, they're just a bit toothier, and I really like them. They're not typical Christmas colors, but I feel like it was a vintage farmhouse Christmas or vintage Christmas. But again, Woolens and Nosh. I barely eked out the cuff. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then the toe in that contrast color. So I have plenty of this striping yarn left to, I don't know, maybe knit another pair. I don't know, shorties, but I'd have to get a different kind of contrast color for them maybe. But anyway, that's the second pair. And then I got into February and Valentine's Day. So that was kind of like, so this was still in January, and I thought, okay, well, I want to knit, really enjoy the stripes. I want to continue knitting stripes, but I want a pair of socks for Valentine's Day, or, you know, with Valentine's colors. So towards the end of January, beginning of February, I knit, and again, these don't have the ends woven in, because why would they, you know. I knit these. This is Nomadic Yarns. If you've never followed her or looked her up on Etsy, she is like the queen of striping in my book. She's one of the queens of striping. This is called the Loveful colorway, and if you can see, it's sort of pink, purple, red, and then I added my own contrast color here. Again, just in my standard stock recipe, which is usually 24 stitches or 24 rows of knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, and then I just kind of gauged it by how it might work out with putting the heel in, and I kept them the same, so they should be matching, like striped. And then I used some old, I wouldn't say old, but like leftover plucky knitter in, I think, the Miss Manners colorway, because I thought the pink pop would just be fun. So this is in the Loveful colorway. This is on her yak base. So I like to knit with different bases of yarns. So this is perfect. This is, yak is a very soft fiber. It's beautiful. It mutes a lot of colors. So if you knitted this colorway in a different yarn base, it would probably be a little more vibrant. I like the muted darker colors here. And then just the pop of the heel and toe. So again, that was a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I tend to think works really well with striping yarn because it maintains the integrity of the striping sequence. So you can have them match if you want. If you don't really care, maybe it might not matter to you. Then I decided, you know, let's cast on another one. So I did. And you know, when you watch podcasts, you know, get inspired by other people's podcasts. So I was watching the Crazy Sock Ladies podcast, and she had some yarn from this yarn dyer, and I thought I would try it. It's in, I don't know if it's an 85-25. Again, I didn't write things down. I should, right? But this is in a beautiful yarn called Stitchin' with Yarn. That's the name of the dyer. I got it on Etsy. She has a shop, so if you just simply search that, you can do that. Again, I love, absolutely love this yarn. I don't think this particular colorway is available. It was called Colors of the Wind. It just kind of reminded me, like, who doesn't start singing the Colors of the Wind from the Disney movie, right? Pocahontas. For this one, I did a picot cuff. So that's really easy. I just have enough socks that have had this included. So basically it's you knit like 4 rounds, just straight knit. And then you knit a round of knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. So knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, the whole way around. And then you knit another 4. And then you pick up your stitches. I'm going to just flip this so you can see. From your cast on edge, and you knit them together so that it kind of gives this fold over cuff. And I'm not giving away any patterns here because I really didn't use anything for that. It's just my standard pattern. And then again, I did the Eye of the Partridge heel and just a standard toe. But I feel like these are great, and I need to weave the ends in because there's only 2 on these, really. I mean, well, there's 4 if you count them for both socks. But I mean, come on, I'm just really lazy about it, and I need to be better. I need to be better. So that's those. Okay, we're up to 3 pair this year, and then yesterday I finished 4. Now this looks like I don't have my ends woven in, but actually I ran out of knitting, so I did weave my ends in. I was in the car and I ran out of knitting. I was the rider, not the driver, on this one. So these are, and this is the first time I've knit with this yarn too. I think this might be the first time that I've knit with a tweed yarn as well. So this is a tweed, and it's by Yarn Inc. She is a Canadian dyer, and she was having a sale in her shop a couple weeks ago, so picked up some colorways. And this is the Blackened Rainbow colorway. So for this, nothing special, just a 2x2 ribbing at the top of the sock, a Eye of a Partridge heel, and the regular standard toe decreases. They did pull a little bit here at the gusset. Whenever you pick up the stitches, you'll really see it when I turn them around, because the purpley pink areas are there. Does it bother me? I don't prefer it, but it's not going to bother me that much. Just have a couple of rows like that. The yarn is definitely, I think it's like an 85-15 base, so there's nylon in it. There's the neps, so you'll see the little like speckles like that kind of come and are loose there. That is the tweed portion of it, and that is there. It's very different. It almost has, this yarn almost has a silky feel in it, so I'm kind of wondering how it's going to wear. But these were some of my February, March socks. So far this year we're not done with month 3, and I have 4 pairs of socks done. So that's pretty good. I would like to be a little further along. I did start in my next one. I started it last night. Got a lot done, didn't I, right? I knit my socks mainly on 9-inch circulars. I do the heel and the toe on Magic Loop. But this is, again, Beehive Yarns in the Celebration colorway. So it comes with this, and surprisingly, a pink contrast heel. So hopefully the next time that I'm here, either they'll be done, but that would be great, right? Or I'll have at least one of them done. I'm going to try and podcast a little more often. So that's kind of what I've been up to knitting wise and creating or crafting wise. I've been trying to read some more books too. I got a new Kindle for Christmas, and can't believe the difference. My Kindle was like, I'm probably a decade old and was super slow, and so I got a new one. The charge lasts like weeks at a time, and I read every day, so it's great. Been enjoying that. I just finished probably my favorite book of the year so far, which was Sarah Addison Allen's Other Birds, and it's been out since probably 2022 or 23. She has what they her genre is what they call magical realism. It was just a really great story. It's fiction. I just really enjoy her writing as well. So I'm enjoying that. I'm reading a Rebecca Yarros book right now. It's not part of the Fourth Wing series, though my daughter tells me I do need to read this. And I'm soon going to wrap this up, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that I'd like to do upcoming, and things that I'd like to make. So to buy some yarn to make a sort of like cowl thing called the Grid Gambit, which uses like a solid yarn and then a like I don't want to say dyed in the wool kind of yarn that will gradiate throughout the project. So I am going to hopefully start that at some point. But I wanted to talk a little bit about garment knitting, and and how long I've been a knitter and my avoidance maybe of it. And maybe I guess I'm talking about it because of my struggles with it. Have I knit sweaters in the past? Yes. I mean, I think you probably mostly see that most of my knitting and things are accessories. So I haven't knit a lot of personal things for myself. I knit some sweaters. And I don't talk about it, but I'm pretty much early 50s, like early to mid 50s. Have another birthday coming up. So here's the thing. I love knitted garments. I really do. I love knitted sweaters. I think they're beautiful. The time that it takes to knit one is incredible. Not for some people. Some people whip them out like they're a pair of socks, right? I've always been in awe of them. I've always personally felt with my own self that I felt really uncomfortable. Growing up, I was very thin. I was very active, and I had no body conscious issues really growing up. But I think this just brings up like a lot of subjects. But as I grew older, I didn't really take the time to take care of my body, to regularly exercise, to eat a little better, to think about what I needed as a person. I was pretty much focused on other things, and there was just a part of me that just didn't really care, and this is very hard to talk about. And so when I began knitting, knitting's a sedentary, for the most part, hobby. And so I knit a lot, or I spun, and, did that add to it? I don't know that it added to it, but it certainly didn't help. And then the few knitted things that I did make for myself, sweaters or things, when I would do photography of me in the thing, I couldn't stand how I had gained weight and not taking care of my body. And it bothered me for a while. It bothered me for a long time. And so I just stopped knitting those things, which is sad, because I think you should knit whatever you want to, and no matter what size you are, whatever you make is going to be beautiful, and it's going to be beautiful on you. I'm just trying to talk to you about the struggles I had with my own self, I don't know, esteem, maybe, whatever. But in the last year, the last year's been very monumentally changing for me. My own primary care doctor passed away very young, in her late 50s, from cancer. And she was always a big proponent of just being healthy and doing healthy habits. And she wasn't perfect by any means. But, the last time that I saw her as a patient, because she was also my patient, she was also my friend, and she, her husband actually does one of the weight loss clinics in the health system I work for. And, we talked about my weight, which was always kind of like teetering on, like I wasn't obese, but I was considered overweight for my height. I've never been overweight in my life until a certain age comes along for women. And I think we're really good about educating our young women about, puberty and going through it. We don't talk to women enough. I'm a nurse. We don't talk to women enough about how our bodies change, how we need to change, how things change for people when they become older, and how that can affect you. And it really, really affected me. I went from being thin and active to being overweight. And I struggled with it for a long time, but I just let it go because, it just didn't bother me until one time, I had a couple comments like, if you were thinner or if you were more attractive. And that hurt, So, and please, it was never my husband or anything like that. But I also felt very convicted because I am a nurse and I talk to people, about their health, that if I was not walking the walk, if I wasn't doing it, how was I going to educate somebody on smoking or stopping their smoking or, losing weight? How could I even talk to you about that if I didn't try to get more healthy myself? This is a long and drawn out conversation, and maybe you're not here for it, but there is knitting in the end, or there's going to be. So I got serious about it. I did not use any medications. I did not do anything special other than I do a little bit of informal intermittent fasting. And I did regular exercise. And over the span of, I think in 2020, I lost about 30 pounds-ish. And then I couldn't get past one point, or like a certain weight. And then I slowly started creeping back on again. And then I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm done. I had a talk with my primary care doctor. We talked about using Ozempic, but I wasn't at the point where I would qualify for it. And now forget it. It's not paid for. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to take a medicine. I knew I had the willpower to keep doing it. So I got serious about it, and I do informal intermittent fasting, and I exercise on a regular basis. Am I crazy exercise woman? No, but I'll tell you what I do. I do move my body most days. So intermittent fasting, I don't eat the first thing in the morning. I drink my black coffee because you don't want to see me without the coffee, but I drink it black, and drink water, super important. So I get up in the morning, I'm drinking water, I have a cup of black coffee before I leave here, I have another cup at work, and water throughout the day. And then I eat a piece of peanut butter toast at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I've never been a big breakfast person, so why was I thinking I needed to eat something or do whatever? Just because everybody says it's the most important meal of the day. It wasn't for me. My stomach's not the greatest in the morning. I'm not hungry, blah, blah. So I started listening to my body, and that was when it was getting hungry, about 10 o'clock. And then I eat lunch, and I cut out all the junk. Like, I cut out the snacking, I'm bored, so I'm just going to shove something in my mouth kind of thing. And then I started riding a bike, an exercise bike, a stationary bike, a recumbent bike at that. It's not even like a Peloton. It's just a recumbent bike. And I started riding. First, I just started like closing an exercise ring, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Then I started like doing a little bit more. Now, I ride 15 miles, like 4 days a week. And then I walk other days, like maybe 1.5 miles, maybe 2, maybe 3. You have to kind of figure out what works for you, what you enjoy. For me, that's what I enjoy. and it has been working. I have lost from last year this time to now about 40 to 50 pounds, and I feel like I'm back to the weight that is healthy for me. I'm back to a normal BMI. I'm back to about 2 pounds above, fluctuates when I got married back in 1998. So I feel like I'm back, baby, I'm back. And it feels good. It feels really good. And I'm back. I feel like now, and I don't want you to think that like people of I'm not trying to be like, you need to be skinny to wear a knitted sweater. That's not at all what I'm about. You need to feel good about yourself. You need to do it. You need to do it for you, for your own peace of mind, for your own well-being. And so this is a long about way to say that, after I figured this out, I bought some yarn because I was like been inspired by people who have been knitting sweaters. And so I can't believe I didn't look up the name of it, but I've been looking at designers. So Petite Knit is one that I just love the designs. Her designs are classic. They're things that I think if you put the time into knitting, they will be in style. You'll have them forever, right? I wasn't sure about the name because, like Petite Knit, you think maybe shorter people, whatever. And I'm not super tall, but, sometimes I'll need a long torso. Sometimes I'll need a regular torso. My legs are short, whatever. So I'm going to knit. I forget the name of this pattern, so I'm just going to tell you it's what they call a slip over, which I call a vest, but now is somehow named a slip over. If you know that conversion and when that occurred, explain it to me, because I'm old, man. I don't get all the stuff. But I did purchase the yarn that it's actually knit in, or it's something similar. It was one of the, for this pattern, it was one of the alternate patterns. So it's Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt. So this will be what I'm knitting that in. And it is in the colorway 3161. Again, I'm old, so I'll put it up here so you can see. And it's a really pretty brown. So I'm going to knit a slip over vest in this for myself. And then so she knits a lot with this yarn, and you'll probably know, it's a product of, I think it's Norwegian wool. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, it's Norwegian. It's produced by in Norway. So this is Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt, and this is for the sweater that I'm going to eventually knit, and it's 1032 color. This one I do know. I think it's called the Storm Cloud sweater. Again, both classic patterns, and I'm committed to knitting them. So while I probably should have been knitting them in the winter, you know me, I'll knit them in the spring, summer. I don't care. All that to say, I hope wherever you are in your journey, you don't let anyone make you feel less than you deserve. Whatever you are, wherever you are in your journey, knit what you want, knit because you want to knit it, and because it makes you feel good. I think that's my message to you today. This has been a lot longer podcast than I've done in the past because I've had some things to show. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I'd love to hear any of your comments. Certainly this is not meant, everyone's very welcome here. It's not meant to exclude anyone or anything like that, but to really share my own journey. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comments, and I would appreciate, if you could just subscribe to the channel. That would be great. I think once we hit, 500 subscribers, I would love to do a giveaway. Okay, I hope that you're having a great day. I hope that you're knitting what you enjoy, reading what you enjoy, creating what you enjoy. And I thank you very much for spending this time with me today. Have a great one. Bye-bye.